Yeah! Here we go! It's time for TSS Fantasy. It is Commissioner Cooper.
I could do a whole 49ers show right now.
Ready to rock out with my gavel out.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Don't sleep on my Patriots, you know.
And we're ready for football. That's
Joe Burrow with this wrist. I'm curious.
I find you guilty of all charges.
Although you assisted force in this
and he's developed some really great chemistry.
DJ Chuck Bass.
This guy has been doing it ever since coming off.
I hope you like the way I pimped you
out.
out.
4 targets in all 3 of the classes.
He scored a touchdown this year.
You know, the great thing about being a football player is you don't have to take a shower to go to work.
There it is.
all righty. Waking up. You are waking up. Sorry, Justin. I was looking at Justin's camera. You're waking up with TSS Fantasy.
Yeah, let's go.
God. Messed up the whole intro this morning. My bad. It is Commissioner Cooper. Wake your butts up. We got a fun show for you today. As always, we're going to go over some weather. Got Brian Scott in from bringing his Inside the Medical Tent, bringing the latest in injuries. We're going to do some prop bets, some ultimate DFS lineups, and, of course, some game picks as well. And I got some fantasy friends along with me today to get your fantasy lineup set for week 11. Let's get the intro started. Welcome into the studio, Fred the Jester Reyes.
Oh, man, another week, another Jets game. Let's see what happens today. Been a depressing season so far, but we got the Colts.
Yeah, I have to say, you know, when I sat there and said, you know, I was going to pull for the Cardinals, I found myself not actually, but just the
and I got 2 more games left. I got to fly to New York, drive to Jacksonville.
Got to drive down to Miami too now.
Oh, I'm not sure yet. You know,
you better sell them tickets. All right, well, let's welcome in the Jets bandwagon reliever, Greg OJ, the Juices Loose Mayor. What's up, Greg?
Fred, I'd rather pay to watch you and Mike Tyson go for 5 rounds than watch the Jets this weekend. There you go.
Hey, look, I just threw 8 punches more than he did.
They both be sitting in the corners, sucking on breath. All right, let's also welcome in Justin, getting off mute, Jesus Herrera. Welcome in.
I second what OJ said. I'd rather watch Fred fight Mike Tyson or fucking Logan Paul or Jake Paul than see another Jets game, because goddamn, we got to see another season of that shit. Come on, let's get out of here. What are we doing? Aaron Rodgers is retired.
Are you in Alaska or something? You got that big ass coat, hat? Are you sick or something?
Bro, I just got outside. It's freaking cold as shit. I was walking the dog, and that dog was taking forever on that walk, bro. I'm all fucking shivery. I'm gonna take it eventually, but I'm just getting the warmth back in my body.
Good morning, Cap for Life. We appreciate you. I see your questions in there. We'll get to them in just a minute. And we got Dylan's already put a question in as well, so we got some stuff to get to. Let's pay the bills real quick. If you're watching on YouTube, do us a solid. Hit subscribe, hit like, put your lineup questions in, hit the notification bell. Little things stopping you from doing it. Big things popping for us when you do, so we appreciate you. When you go looking for some DFS plays today, go to Underdog Fantasy. Use the promo code TSS. We'll double that deposit up to $100. Lots of great fantasy games to play on there as well, so go check that out. And if you're looking for some championship bling for your fantasy champion, of course, look no further than Pro-Am Belts. All right, well, like I said, we got a lot to get to this morning, and we got to start with those injuries. So let's get him in. Our expert, Brian Scott from the Injured List Podcast.
A.J. Dillon just went into the medical tent a moment ago.
Welcome in, Brian Scott. How are we doing this morning, my friend?
Good. Feeling good.
Feeling good. We don't have to talk about any injuries from the Jake Paul-Mike Tyson matchup, that for sure. So what do we got on the NFL slate today?
Yeah, so if you were tuned in on Friday night, then you've already got a head start and a big advantage, because we had a huge update Friday night. A lot of things changed between Thursday and Friday. Not much, though, has happened since. Tank Bigsby will be out. Isaiah Pacheco out. Jalen Warren out. Keon Coleman out. Dalton Kincaid out, Sam Laporta out. Now, the question marks were Aaron Jones. Good news on him. He practiced in full on Friday. He has since been removed from the injury report, from the team's injury report. So even though that injury looked serious, apparently it wasn't that bad. He will be suiting up. Tyreek Hill, everyone's freaking out, thinking he's going to have season-ending surgery, but it sounds like he's been dealing with a wrist torn ligament injury all season long. I don't think he's going to pull the trigger on surgery unless the Dolphins season goes to crap, which potentially could happen, but we'll have to see. Amari Cooper, he is expected to play. I think he's going to have a protective brace or splint or some type of device protecting that wrist on, so that could affect his catching ability. We'll have to see how it pans out, but he is expected to play. And then the other one was George Kittle. Now, George Kittle was dealing with some type of minor hamstring aggravation, and then he got in some limited practice this week. They made it sound like it wasn't a big deal. And then lo and behold, my favorite reporter, Shifty Adam Schechter, reported that the team is now not optimistic that he's going to play, and they're going to test him out in warmups. So I'm not so sure what to make of that. Earlier in the week and all week, actually, they were saying that it sounds like he's going to be good to go. So this might be truly a game time decision. You'll have to pay attention closely there. But good news, a lot of guys are coming back this week too. You got Nico Collins coming back with the hamstring injury. T. Higgins coming back with getting off that quad injury. Michael Pittman will be 100%. And then DK Metcalf making his return after a few weeks absent with that MCL sprain. So some good players coming back despite some of these injuries going on in the league.
Wow. Oh, wow. That's big news for sure, especially going into this week. We got guys on buys and stuff. So
a lot of buys this week, too. A lot of
buys. So make sure you check out the latest and greatest from Brian. Of course, you can always go to his Inside the Medical 10 blog, or, of course, check in his report out on Friday with our show there. And, of course, waking up with here. But what can we get the latest stuff on social media and stuff, Brian? Where can we check that out?
Yeah, most active on X at Injured List Pod. You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at the Injured List Podcast. And then, of course, the website, theinjuredlist.com.
It's a big week. We're getting into, that time of the year, big games, of course, for your fantasy purposes anyway. So just make sure you go check out Brian's latest and greatest. Make sure you get those lineups set correctly. All right, I see we got a few questions to get in there. We will get back to those in just 1 second. We're going to hear from our friends from NeuroGuard. Brian, appreciate you.
Take care. Dr. Michael Hutchison has harnessed the latest in neuromuscular dentistry and impact technology to develop a mouthguard that does more than protect. It enhances. NeuroGuard Plus isn't just a mouthguard. By focusing on the jaw's physiological position, it provides an added layer of neuroprotection, significantly reducing the risk of sports-related neurological injuries. All athletes should be using a custom mouthguard designed to their bite position. NeuroGuard Plus was created as a means to maintain your physiological jaw position regardless of your bite. The appliance is designed to optimize your upper-lower jaw relationship to improve your strength, your balance, your oxygen intake, and drastically lower your chance of a concussion. Independent studies have shown that the NeuroGuard Plus will provide you with improvement to both upper and lower body strength. The same improvements were not present with a common mouthguard. Over 6,500 athletes have used the NeuroGuard Plus. Dr. Hutchison is happy to say that the amount of diagnosed concussions is 0.2%. The NeuroGuard Plus offers athletes, coaches, and parents an advantage to keep their players safe on the field. If you or your child actively participates in athletics, they need to be protected from the dangers of repetitive head trauma. Get your NeuroGuard Plus mouthguard today. Click on the link and use code ILP Sports for 10% discount on your purchase.
All right, well, let's get to couple of these questions. We got a couple in to start with. You're live. Hello, my beautiful people. Dylan, bro, you're up at 7:12 leaving us your lineup questions. So let's get to you first, of course, since you were up and early on it. All right, so happy game day from Dylan. He wants to go full PPR. We'll just get this around the table. He's starting one tight end and one QB. So Fred will go with you, the tight end. You got Taysom Hill versus Cleveland, Dawson Knox versus KC, Disley versus Cincinnati, and Kmet versus Green Bay. What you think?
So as my man Brian Scott was talking, I have Kittle on my lineup. So I went to the waiver wire real quick, and I actually just picked up Knox versus KC. I think that Knox is going to grab a lot of receptions. They were all available. I think, like I said on Friday night, I think it's going to be a really good game. I think the tight ends are going to be big in this game, and I personally went with Knox myself.
I actually fully agree. I think you get the agreement all the way around the table. Dawson Knox, always a solid start. With Kincaid out, I think, you saw Josh Allen just barely miss Kincaid last week. It's not like they don't use the tight end a lot in Buffalo. Cooper is back, but again, a little hobbled, as Brian alluded to. So you could see a good Dawson Knox game today for sure. Let's go to the QB question to the Juice. You got Anthony Richardson at the Jets, Tua versus Las Vegas at home, and Drake May versus the Rams. What do you think?
Well, I'm still out on Anthony Richardson. I mean, it's his first game back. I'm, still uncertain. Jets defense, I think, will probably wake up this weekend against, the second-year quarterback. So, process of elimination, I like Tua against Las Vegas. I think Tua will have a good game. I know Jason is smiling from ear to ear with that one, but Tua did had a decent game last week. So I think he's back on track. So I like Tua this week.
I mean, it's a good matchup QB-wise. Receiver-wise, though, I was surprised to see that the Raiders are like fourth in the league against fantasy receivers. So maybe you see a decent Jonnu Smith day today, or a lot of passes to, of course, Achane or Mostert. So we'll see how this sets up. I can just hope for a damn victory. That's all I need. All right, Justin, we'll go to you. Cap for life. Welcome in. Thank you again. Thank you, Dylan. Appreciate you waking up with us. He wants to know AR5 or Sam Darnold this morning. What do you think?
Muted.
You're muted. That's all. All righty. You got some technical difference. There it goes. You there now?
Well,
Charlie Chaplin. All right,
I think you got to go with Minnesota, right?
Fred, what do you think?
I think you got to start with Sam Darnold today. Tennessee is weak all across the board. We talked about it Friday night. Their defense is horrible in every single facet of the game. I'm starting Aaron Darnold. I'm starting Sam Darnold today against Tennessee.
Sam Darnold today. That's his pick, Cat for life on that one. I think I agree with Greg. I mean, we're not really sure what Anthony Richardson's going to look like. I know he's improved his, I'm going to take Justin now for a second. He's improved his pregame planning. That's why he got the start today. But, it's a tough matchup to come into for him. I'm just not sold. Yeah. We'll see. Sam Darnold kind of disappointed me last week, as we'll bring up ultimate DFS lineups against the Jags. And actually the Titans do have a decent secondary, not for nothing. So, I mean, it's interesting, but it's Justin Jefferson. You could see a little Jordan Addison today too. I'm kind of feeling the Sam Darnold there as well. A little afraid of Anthony Richardson right now as he's getting back into the fold. Let's go to Greg for this one. It's from our boy Drish. Thank you again so much for your question. He's got a PPR. He wants to start 4 of these guys. So I guess you're eliminating one. So you got McConkey, CD, Shakir, Flowers, and Tillman. So eliminate one of those guys.
Is Justin back?
Yeah, Justin's back. Justin, you want to answer this since you're back? You're going to eliminate one of these guys and you start 4. McConkey, CD, Shakir, Flowers, or Tillman.
First off, I got a question for you guys. Is there such a thing as a cup of coffee for a computer? Because my computer freaking needs one right now. As far as this one goes, start 4. Who am I leaving out? I mean, it's going to be a tough one because I think the one I'm going to leave out is probably Flowers, just because I don't like the matchup against Porter Jr. Every other guy, it's kind of a toss-up right now. CD, you don't know what he's going to get because his quarterback had 47 yards through 3 quarters last week. Obviously, Houston is not a great defense, but they did pick off Jared Goff 5 times. I think my thing would be just take off Flowers because I think it's going to be a lot of Derrick Henry, and a lot of different guys other than Flowers getting at this game. And then to answer the other question, I'm actually going Anthony Richardson. And my reasoning why? I think they get back to basics in this lineup. I think they get back to Anthony Richardson running the ball in this one. And the Jets have allowed the most rushing touchdowns to opposing mobile quarterbacks. So, throwing that out there. That of the day. Plus, Sam Darnold's regressed to the mean. 1,000%.
They're not in the dome, homie.
Justin's throwing that out there like he should throw away his internet. Thank you, Drish. We appreciate your question. Indeed, Sterling wanted to add in. CD had that pop-up injury yesterday. Well, not only that, Cooper Rush in the mix. I can see why he'd be considering sitting him today. Out of these four, though, however, I don't necessarily think I'd do Flowers. I would do McConkey out of this matchup. Personally, I just don't feel like we'll talk about it later in this game, but I just feel like that game's going to be a little bit different than the way people are setting up. But, again, it's a toss up, really. You got some decent plays here. So I don't think you can go wrong either way. But I could see where you're saying the Flowers things. That is, it's the Steelers defense. It's a tough matchup no matter what. All right, well, we got some things to talk about today, but before we get to them, we got to talk about the weather.
It's time for the weather report.
All right, I have to say I was a little disappointed. If you watch this on Friday, I've got Fred all excited and got myself all excited. When you look at the weather report, like during the week, it had Denver calling for snow, but it's not anymore, and I'm pissed. I was hoping to see a little snow during football today. But let's talk about games that you're okay to start your kickers with. The Jags at Lions, Browns at Saints, Bengals at Chargers, and Texans at Cowboys. So those are two games in the domes today. Don't need to worry about the weather when you're good to go. Overall, pretty decent day for weather. A few things that may happen. Packers at Bears, it's 57 degrees. There is a slight chance of rain in that one, and the winds are 14 miles an hour. So just to take note of that. Vikings at Titans, 68 degrees, partly cloudy. Winds are at 7 miles an hour. Raiders at America's team, the Miami Dolphins. I got this tank top on for a reason. It's 78 degrees. Love it. Mostly cloudy. Winds are at 10 miles an hour. Rams at the Patriots, 58 degrees. It's mostly cloudy there. Winds are at 9 miles an hour. Ravens at Steelers, 54 degrees. Slight chance of rain there. Winds are at 6 miles an hour. Boy, I hope it does rain for that because that would just kind of get that nostalgic look for that game. Colts at Jets, 62 degrees. Clear skies. Winds are at 8 miles an hour. Falcons at the Broncos. It's 55 degrees and clear skies. How can you call for snow a couple days ago and now it's clear skies? Winds are at 2 miles an hour. So I guess whatever was there blown through. Seahawks at 49ers, 58 degrees. It says likely rain in this matchup and winds are at 5 miles an hour. So just take note of that. And then the good one we got for later on, Chiefs at the Bills, 50 degrees. Slight chance of rain in this one, and winds are at 5 miles an hour. Crazy enough. All right, let's go to. We got a couple comments before we get to CD. Averages like 15 points when Cooper is under center. I like that. Look at Sterling coming in with some stats. I love it. What's up, guys? Kittle's news unlikely to play. Who should I pick up? I think that's Knox or Disley. Also, who should he drop? Mason, JSN, Pearsall, DJ Moore. Definitely say Knox. I think we're all in agreement there. Fred, who do you think he should drop out of these guys?
Oh, Jesus.
He's also adding Waddle to the list of droppables.
I think you talked about Waddle the other day, but I wouldn't drop him. This is a hard drop. Maybe Pearsall. What is that noise? I think I would go with Pearsall if I had to drop somebody out of all of them because – I mean, these are mostly number one, number two receivers. I know McCaffrey's back, but I still use Mason. So I think I would go with Pearsall.
I'm going JSN. I mean, I haven't really seen nothing. So I'm not really too excited about JSN, quite frankly. So
no, you're not.
What do you think?
No, you're
Greg?
not. He just had a 40-point game before his bye.
Yeah, but that's one game, bro. One freaking game. That's the one game all season long. I've seen nothing out of him consistently.
That's the most important game. That's the last game he played in.
I'm not a guy who rides the dragon, bro. What do you think, Greg? Is there somebody else you drop in here?
I'll
including
drop
Waller.
Jordan Mason at this time, man. I mean, CMC's back. He's getting the majority of the carry. He looks fresh last week. So Mason, what did he get? 1, maybe 2 carries with CMC back. So I'm dropping Mason.
If it depends on your roster, George, and thanks again, appreciate your question and stuff. If it depends on your roster, if I have McCaffrey, I don't know, I'd be a little nervous dropping Mason. We know what the injury history, stuff like that. So again, depends on what your roster looks like. But to me, again, I don't know. But what do you think, Justin? Is there anyone else you concur with Mason drop?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask. Do you have an IR spot? Do you have? do we have an option here? But yeah, you know what? I go completely with Greg on that one. It's Mason, and it's because Mason's been dinged up himself, so it's like we don't even know. It could be Garendo is the next backup, for this team. So, I said it last week. Kyle Shanahan has one running back and one running back only. He does not split time. So if you're not on the field, you're kind of wasting space on the bench. So I would go Mason. I would keep every of those receivers. The only one I would consider is maybe DJ Moore because he's been absolutely trash this year.
Yeah, that's true too. That was somebody else I was gonna bring up. We talked about it on Friday. It's become this I guess wheel of fortune, if you will, and it's not even a fortune if you land on the right Bears receiver. So I'm not kind of with you on that. I think DJ Moore, maybe even drop some of these guys that have some of these name values. I just talked about dropping JSN. Since he had that great game, why not shop him around? DJ Moore, same deal. So you could end up trying to do some kind of 2-for-1, make your roster a little bit better too while you do a pickup. So just something else to think about while you're doing it. George, we appreciate your questions. All right, well, listen, we're going to get to some ultimate DFS lineups and help you win some stuff this weekend. But before we do that, let's get pumped up. It's Sunday morning. We got to get some exercise in. Fourth and Flex is here with his Flex starts of the week. Let's check it out.
It's time for Bandy's Flex starts of the week. What is up, my people? Yes, sir, your boy's pumped right now, man. It's your boy Bandy from the Fourth and Flex Fantasy Football Podcast. We're here with another exciting, stimulating, amazing episode of Bandy's Flex Starts of the Week. Yes, sir. Got a couple of guys for you right here, man. Let's just kick it right off with a guy on a new team. He's got some good stuff going on. Had a great rookie season. He's getting another opportunity to show you what he's got on a team that's been kind of decimated with injury. Lost their main running back. I'm talking Khalil Herbert, baby. Khalil Herbert, welcome back to our Fantasy Lives. Go ahead, throw him in the flex spot this week. Moving on to the next guy. Another guy on a new team. Starting to see something here, huh? Derek Carr. Derek Carr has got a guy that can catch the ball deep. You know I'm talking about Marquise Valdes-Scantling, baby. The guy has been on a few teams, but he can catch a deep ball, and Derek Carr needs a guy that can catch the deep ball. He finally got him. Moving on to the last guy on this list. It's a guy coming in the season a little hurt. Okay, he's a part of a running back tandem, okay, and a lot of people are a little more excited about him coming into the season, but I'm excited about him right now, and if you've held on this guy, you're probably going to be reaping the benefits this week. I'm talking about Raheem Mostert, baby, on America's team, the Miami Dolphins, okay? A-Chain doing it, Mostert's doing it, their Dolphins are getting back to that run game. Start your boy Raheem Mostert in your flex spot this week, baby. For more fantasy football advice and all kinds of laughs and good times, check out your boys on the Fourth and Flex Fantasy Football Podcast, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere. And come flex with us, baby.
Go flex with the Fourth and Flex Fantasy Football Podcast. We appreciate you, Bandy. We got another question in before we get to our ultimate DFS lineups. Justin, we'll go to you for this one. Pick one of these. You got Jaden Reed, DJ Moore or Jammo versus Jacksonville. This is full PPR. Back on mute, my friend.
Always. I know I just shit on DJ Moore, but something about the idea of transitioning from a garbage offense and having maybe sprinkling a little bit of something on the turd, maybe it's going to turn into something that will be worth playing this week. I'm reaching here for it, but I think you got to either go DJ Moore or Jaden Reed. I think J-Mo's in a bad slot here because Jacksonville is going to be washed away by the run game. So, if I had to pick one, I think I'm just going to be honest. I'm going to go Jaden Reed, and then DJ Moore would be a close second.
Yeah, I'm going Jaden Reed here. I think that's an easy start. Even though Chicago is really decent against, got a good defense. But I think we saw last week with Drake May picking them it got some holes too. So I like Jaden Reed. I like Packers big this week, Mom. And thanks so much for your question, brother. We appreciate you. All right, let's get it on, fellas. You know what time of the week it is. Get you flexing out. Our boy is already here, unfortunately, so we can't really use the flexing part. But let's get it on with some ultimate DFS lineups.
The power of the Ultimate Warrior.
All right, well, let's talk about last week real quick. And about last week, somebody dropped the belt and was the jobber of the week. Yep, it was me. Ugh, what a
whoa.
And I know. And I even put in Josh Downs over Cooper because I had Cooper in. But I was like, all right, Josh Downs about the same amount. But he was like my best guy, like the guy I replaced. And it still didn't matter. It was super ugly last week. Lots of there's one. I'm sorry. Yeah. He was the only that was the point I was going to make. Well, him and Kyron were my only double-digit scores last week. Oh. So, yeah, that was pretty damn ugly. Go ahead and count me out from last week because the belt right now, let's see who gets it. And it ain't Fred. He's also one didn't break 100 with me. Also had the same struggles with the double digits. However, those double digits came in big with Travis Kelce and his flex, and the Patriots defense coming up big for him last week. Check that out. Crazy enough. All right, let's go to the next guy. It is Justin. Justin, at least he broke 100 last week, but he's the middle tier this week. 104. Ricky Pearsall came up big for you. And Brock Purdy, obviously. So your home team brought you some good points anyway. All right, let's look at LeDuc because he's not the champ. Brock Purdy, he also had Brock Purdy in there. Juwan Jennings, that was his stack there. Mooney came up decent, and Rashad White. But what that means, ladies and gentlemen, we have a new champion, and it is Greg the Loose Maya. 119 points. Sam Laporta, obviously hurt, but still put in some decent points. George Pickens and Russell Wilson, his stack last week really came up big. I noticed our stacks are starting to come up big in these ultimate DFS, so that was a great play there, Greg. Let's give it to him.
And his name is John C.
And with that, Greg, you have the honors. For life, just want to bring it. My lineup was 69 points last week. I feel you, bro.
Nice.
I hope that wasn't because of any advice we gave you. That's right, let's go. Greg, you're up first, my brother. Talk about this week. What do you got for your ultimate DFS lineup?
Well, I kind of kept it the same. I dipped into the well again. I went with the Russell Wilson and George Pickens matchup. Baltimore secondary is trash. We know it's trash. It's terrible. I know Kyle Hamilton might play, but I don't think it's going to make a difference. I think Russell Wilson and George Pickens has found the magic, and I think I'm going to ride with it until the wheels fall off. I also went back with Juwan Jennings. He's shown that with Brandon Ayuk out, Brock Purdy is looking for him. He looks like he's the number one receiver with Ricky Pearsall right behind him, but I like Juwan Jennings this week as well. And with probably one more week, Kareem Hunt is going to hold off Isaiah Pacheco in this brutal matchup this week. I think they're going to run the ball as much as they can with Kareem Hunt. I think that's going to be a great play for this week. Kenneth Walker. I know San Fran is pretty decent against the run, but who else do they have? Geno has not looked up to par this season, so I'm riding with Kenneth Walker this week. And I like Cedric Tillman against New Orleans. New Orleans is not great against wide receivers this week. The 21st against fantasy wide receivers. So I like Cedric Tillman. Last time he played, it put up some big numbers. Of course, we all love Dawson Knox, and D-Hop has shown to be that number one receiver. He's opened it up for Travis Kelce underneath, and he's building that chemistry with Patrick Mahomes. And Niners defense cannot go wrong against the Niners against Seattle. I think Geno throws about 2 or 3 picks because Geno's going to go back to being Geno. So let's ride.
Yeah, definitely. I love this lineup. Should be a nice team. Went right back to the well this week. So if they end up scoring big, the champ will be here. And Cedric Tillman, just going to keep commenting, been one of the most consistent fantasy plays this season, and that's something I like when I play fantasy is consistency. That's for sure. Let's bring up LeDukes real quick. Not here to talk about it, but here is his line. We're going to Bo Nix this week. A little bit different. He's got Mozart in as well. Debo seems to be on everyone's list today. Courtland Sutton, and he went with I like Tyler Kraft today. That was a nice little bargain buy. So we'll see if that ends up showing out this week. Justin, we're going to you, my friend. Don't forget you're on mute, and here we go.
Yeah. Thanks for the reminder on that one. I've been missing that one quite a bit. So I think I'm the only one that didn't go with Deebo Samuel here. I went with Anthony Richardson. I really do think that this kid is probably going to have a bounce back game this week. I think he's going to do it a lot on the ground, which means you're going to get 6 points for that touchdown, not 4. A-Chain and Gibbs. I love to spend money on the running back position because when you hit on the running back position, that's where you're going to make your money in DFS. A-Chain, I think that he's just going to dominate that Raiders defense. Obviously, you said earlier, Raiders are very good against wide receivers, not so much against running backs. And then Gibbs, like I said before, I think this game is going to be won on the ground. Hopkins, Jennings, and Moore, I'm really, I guess, early on, really thinking DJ Moore is going to have like some sort of come to Jesus moment with Caleb Williams as his quarterback and be like, bro, we're in this for the long term. I'm here for 5 years. You're here for 5 years. Let's get this right. Shane Waldron's gone. Let's go. Hopeful thinking there, but maybe it gets you some money today. Then I agree 100% with Greg. Keep Juwan Jennings in there. He's the best route runner against man. He's probably just overall the one guy Brock Purdy has the most confidence in this entire offense. He's third and Juwan for a reason because third down comes around. The only person Brock Purdy's looking for is Juwan Jennings. And then D-Hop, I just had to get a little piece of this action with the Chiefs and the Bills. I think they're going to just absolutely go at each other. I think D-Hop's going to have a nice game this week. I love the double tight end. I don't know why anybody else would not go double tight end when it comes to flex and tight end because it's such a cheap option. TJ Hawkins hit at 9 targets last week. He seemed to be the only thing working for Sam Darnold. And then Brock Bowers, you want to talk about a target machine. Brock Bowers, since Devontae Adams has left, has been an absolute target machine for the Raiders. Playing that little bit soft-ish, Commish, defense for the Dolphins. And then the Browns defense, it's kind of like a coin flip here. That was my one where I'm like, all right, this is actually a good defense. It's just if the offense shows up, they're going to look a lot better. So I went with the Browns at the cheap price of $2,600.
All right, well, since you called my name, then I'm just going to say this. The facts are, well, one thing, I'll just back up the one thing you said. Raiders 26th against fantasy running backs as compared to 5th in the league against fantasy receivers. So, yeah, I like the A-Chan play. But the Dolphins D is not soft, my friend. Number 3 against QBs, 7th against running receivers, and 8th against tight ends. There's nothing soft about it other than the running back, but they've been moving up a bit. Now they're 22nd opposed to 31st and dead last. So, yeah, America's team's defense is not soft at all. All right, let's
mute Jason. Somebody mute Jason.
Let's go, Fred. What do you think, my friend? Give me your ultimate DFS lineup.
All right. So, damn, that's what I picked. All right, so I went with the combo of Jared Goff and Amon St. Brown. I wanted a good combo. I think Jacksonville is horrible, so we should put up a lot of points this week. Same thing with Greg. I know Pacheco's coming back next week. This will probably be our last time to ride with Hunt. And I spent a little bit on Rico Dowdle because you know what? He's all they have. That's all they have, and he did pretty good last week. So I thought 6,000 was pretty good for him. I'm with Justin. I always do the 2 tight end at flex and tight end spot. It's just more value. I'm gonna go with Bowers because he's just been absolutely killing it over there for the Raiders. And then of course Kyle Pitts. I mean, like you can't go wrong for $4,800. I picked Alec Pierce. I wasn't super confident, but I haven't liked the way DJ Reed's been playing for the Jets, and it's my team, so I know. So I think he'll have a couple of big plays, 2 or 3 of them, get some yards and maybe a TD. The Jets defense, I don't care what they say about Anthony Richardson. He sucks. He can't throw the ball. You may be able to run the ball, but you're not playing in the dome today. You're playing in the wide open New York. So I think today's game is more about Jonathan Taylor than anything Anthony Richardson could do.
Yeah, I like it. Fred, by the way, this is the only version of you that would ever go 8 rounds.
I can do it, bro. 16 minutes.
Oh,
I can do it. I can do it.
You know what? Let me get Tyson Peoples on the phone, Fred. We can set this up.
Dino Bud, I see your question. Give us 1 second. I'll get to it. Let me run through my DFS lineup here. I also like Jared Goff this week. I mean, bouncing back from, again, 5 interceptions. He's not doing that today. And it's the Jaguars, 30th against fantasy QBs. I like a big bounce back from Goff today. Kareem Hunt, got to go with every time I see the Bills, I'm going with the opposing running back because they are 31st in the league, and that's stayed consistent all year long. They are very soft against the run. I definitely love Kareem Hunt today. And I went with Chubb today because, Tennessee, they're 16th against fantasy running backs. But as I mentioned earlier, they are pretty decent in the secondary. So I could see these guys getting up and start pounding the rock today, or at least pounding the rock nonetheless. So I like that against the Saints. They're 29th against fantasy running backs. So I like the matchup. I wrote down Tennessee because I don't know what the hell I was thinking. They're playing the Saints, and the Saints are 29th against fantasy running backs. So I like the matchup, and I could see them off the bye after Nick Chubb has already been in a couple of games. Now we're going to see some full Nick Chubb mode. I like Courtland Sutton, Atlanta, 25th against receivers. Bo Nix, as we alluded to earlier, has been stepping up. I talked about Cedric Tillman already. Like him, obviously, he's been consistent. And when I see people are consistent, I like it. Ricky Pearsall obviously got in the end zone last week. Seattle 26 against fantasy receivers. So I like that there. We all been talking about Dawson Knox all day. But, here's the other tidbit. Kansas City, very good defense, but they have been also consistently dead last against fantasy tight ends. So that is something else to note for Dawson Knox today. I went with the money I had left over, Joe Mixon against Dallas. Again, Dallas is soft all the way around defensively. So got to like Joe Mixon. You got to think the Texans get up on this team early, and we'll see a lot of Joe Mixon today. On Monday. So that's something I think that's a good, decent play. And even with that, I had $500 left over with this lineup. So if there's something else that you see that's a little bit better for the defense, go right ahead, or something else. But Rams against New England, 27th offense overall. I think you'd like to see them bounce back from last week to making them look silly. So that's my ultimate DFS lineup for this week. Let's go to Dino Butt. He's got a question. What do you think? We'll go to Greg on this. Swift or Metcalf at the flex?
Listen, man, I don't trust nobody in Chicago right now. I'm sorry. They just changed the offensive coordinator. Caleb doesn't look good. They have not been feeding Swift. When they were winning, that's what the winning ingredient and recipe was feeding Swift. And for some reason, they went away from that. And I know DK's coming off of an injury, but I do like DK this over Swift this week. I like it a lot better because I don't trust nobody in Chicago right now. I'm sorry, I can't.
Yeah, no, I agree with you actually, just because the Chicago offense definitely trying to find a home. And it's funny, we've been talking, it's almost like we reverted back to 90s football a little bit, talked about the Eagles and their struggles when they were struggling offensively. Start feeding the ball to Saquon. Same with the Ravens. When they struggle is when they don't feed the ball to Derrick Henry. Like, I just don't get it. Like, it's not rocket science.
I don't get it, man. Run the damn ball. Like, we got two.
Within 10 yards on the goal line.
We got 2 running backs, and we don't run the damn ball. Run the ball. You got a running back that's still in their 20s and not even hitting 30. You give them the damn ball. I don't get it.
Not to toot my own horn, but that's exactly the issue. I said from the beginning there was a problem with the Jets. Is that you have this team that's set up to run and play defense. You bring in Aaron Rodgers. You run all the way down the field, looks great, and then you get to the goal line, and all of a sudden Aaron Rodgers wants to throw the ball and be the hero. It's ridiculous. Like, they need to stick with that run game.
Justin, where's my Niner gear? I'm waiting for it.
All right, we got one here from Bryce.
You want the red? You want the gray?
I like the black and red.
Black and red. That's my favorite too. That's my favorite.
And I want a Brock Purdy jersey. I don't know.
Dino, bud, thank you so much for your question. Fred, let's go to you on this one. It's from Bryce. He says, fellas, good morning. Jaden Reed or Judy at the flex. Then Javante, or I always never pronounce his name, Estime at running back. His running backs are on a bye, unfortunately, so he's got some issues. What do you think? Let's go with Jaden Reed or Judy at the flex first.
I'm starting Jaden Reed. I think they have a good game today against Chicago. The weather doesn't matter. So
and then Javante, or I don't know what they're doing in their running back position. Sean Payton's a little tricky sometimes, but what do you think? Are you going with Javante, or are you going with the perceived backup?
I don't even know what the hell. You want to know some analysis? I don't even know who Estime is.
He led the Broncos in rushing last week. What is wrong with you?
I don't even know who that dude is. I'll go with some. Listen, there's 3 guys named Javante in the league, so I'm taking one of the Javantes.
All right, so I'll answer this for you, Bryce. I'll give you a little. That's a tough one. Again, I know your running backs are on bye, so it's tough. I would still just go with Javante. I don't know if what Sean Payton's doing, honestly. I think, honestly, looking at them, I feel like they're both kind of equal, to be honest. So I'm just kind of going to go with the guy they pay a little more, to be quite frank with you. But, that's a tough call, my friend. So I can see why you're thinking that. But if I could get in Javante's mind, Sean Payton's mind, I could help you a little more. Because who the hell knows what this guy thinks. But obviously, probably it's the hot hand type thing, but I'd still go with Javante, honestly, in this one. All right, we got one for Justin. Look at this little guy, Robbie. He's got a good last name, too. Should he start Njoku for his flex or risk it with Amari Cooper?
Ooh, 1,000%, Robbie. What a good-looking kid. Who produced that kid? Wow. Great kid. That's a great kid right there. Great kid. Some would say the best. Some would say the best. I would go Njoku. Njoku is just that guy right there. In this offense, when you have a quarterback, Njoku is the one guy you're looking at first. Tillman is second, but Njoku is the guy you're looking at first. He's the guy that's going to get you all the value in PPR because he's going to get 9 to 10 targets a game. And Cooper, while that's a great last name, I will say this. He's been very shaky since going to the Bills. I thought he was going to be different, but he's obviously got the wrist injury. And, everybody else is ascending around him. And he's kind of just holding it down in whatever corner of the offense that he's in. So I really do say just go with your gut and stick with Njoku.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you on that, Justin. I like Njoku. Cooper also with the injury, and then he's trying to find himself in offense. My bad, Greg. What were you going to say?
I was going to say pick whoever his dad would pick on the other side. So if your dad picked Cooper, pick Just saying.
It might be Cooper then. It might be. Funny thing is, he texted me the question. I was like, bro, get on the show and ask, man. Let's come on, help us out a little. Let's go. All right. What do you think? Let's go back to you, Greg, for Bryce. He's got Hopkins or ETN.
I like D-Hop, man. I like what D-Hop's been doing and with Patrick Mahomes, and I think he's getting those red zone looks. besides Hunt and of course Kelsey. But in the pecking order, I do like Hopkins over ATN. ATN's been a big disappointment this season, man. Like big, huge disappointment. So I would go with D Hop. I like the way he's fitting in that Kansas City offense.
Yeah, I agree with you. Travis Etienne is an intriguing play today because of the volume without Bigsby in there. However, Lions 6 against fantasy running backs, and I don't see a scenario anyway where the Jags are up and trying to run clocks. So I just don't.
Trevor Lawrence, like they're going to stack. They're going to stack 8 in that box and dare the quarterback to throw it, and it ain't going to happen.
And it's not going to be pretty. That's for damn sure. All right, Bryce, we appreciate your question. We got one more here. Let's go to Fred. I hope you know some of these guys. This is from South 650. Top of the morning to you, my brother. We appreciate you. He's got, looks like a 10-team league, a half PPR, Cup, Piggins, D-Hop, Mooney, JSN, Quentin Johnson. Need 4.
Sticking with Mooney, sticking with D-Hop. Like Pickens. No, it says need 4, bro.
Right. So I said you picked 2. So 2 more.
Mooney, Hop, Pickens, Cup.
All right. So we're no JSN this week. Not
no JSN. And no Quentin Johnson.
There's no. Oh, yeah. No. Okay. Yeah. Quentin Johnson. Sorry.
Good job, Fred.
Good job. I appreciate that. Looking good in this line. Looking good at the receiver, obviously.
Yeah, it looks good right there.
Team league. I mean, obviously, but it's looking good, my friend. I think you got some good options.
Yeah.
Southco, we appreciate your question. All right, guys. Well, let's get it on. Oh, I almost forgot. Ariel is not joining us again this week. I can't believe it. She's just dissing us. So no TNA on her Sunday morning.
What is going on with her?
Let's go. We got a guy in the back, of course, as always. He's hitting that bong, and he's dreaming up some homegrown prop bets for you. So get your pen and paper ready, and let's get paid with Eric.
Hey. Smoke weed every day.
Good morning and a happy week 11 to you and yours. Not a bad week 10, not a great week 10, just okay. And I'm real tired of just okay. Let's have ourselves a 4-0 top to bottom great week. Now, another trend I've noticed as I'm looking into this stuff is we start out hot and then the afternoon games completely let us down. Fuck those afternoon games. We'll get all our money in the early slate and then we'll just order some pizza and chill out and enjoy the afternoon slate with our free money. There's plenty in the 1 p.m. window to choose from, such as Jameson Williams, 50 receiving yards. I mean, this guy's a big play waiting to happen, and now you tell me Sam Laporta's not going to play? I mean, I know it's the Jacksonville Jags, but they're still going to run up some points, and J-Mo can give us 50 yards in a single play. Caleb Williams, under 193.5 passing yards. How in the world is this kid going to even get near 193 passing yards? We have a new coordinator who his game plan cannot possibly be, let's put Caleb back there and let him sling it. I think it's going to be a run-heavy approach, and we've already heard rumors about maybe he's flirting with the bench, so a bad first half could get him, pulled from the game. That would help us out a lot, too. Speaking of failure, Anthony Richardson, under 14.5 completions. I mean, I think he's only gone over 14.5 one time, but this is another guy on double secret probation, short leash, etc. This team has no idea what they're doing. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Colts go Richardson first quarter, Flacco second quarter, Richardson third quarter, Flacco to finish it out. They have no idea. They got ADD as an organization. And then I scroll down and I see Cordero Patterson, anytime touchdown is only plus 300. Now, why is that plus 300? Because they don't want us to take it. This man hasn't scored a touchdown all season long. That should be plus 500 or plus 600. It's priced that way so that we don't want to take it because it's happening. I'll see you at the window.
Damn!
Indeed. Fire it up, wake and bake, whatever you want to call it. Let's get to the picks of the week.
We're on a mission, guys. We're on a mission, guys.
All right, well, let's bring up last week, and I might have been a dud in the Ultimate DFS, but not in the picks. 10-4, powered by America's team, Justin and I, and Steelers as well. That kind of came up big for us last week. And Justin, I was gonna say it on last Sunday or whenever the hell I was gonna say it, but if you didn't go for that Bengals win last week, you were the lone wolf on that Thursday nighter. You probably been sitting there right there with me. Greg and Fred in the middle, and our boy, Mr. Sophistication Station, did a little drop this week, which means for the year. Oh boy, I got a nice little lead now. Thanks to LeDuc's collapse last week. I got 4 games up on LeDuc. We got Fred and Greg, just twinsies, 95 and 54, and Justin.
And the done Seth Rollins.
That's his new nickname, the Dunce, not the architect anymore. The Dunce.
The Dunce. I love it. All right, let's get to the matchups of the day. We're going to start out, of course, with the matchups of the day. The Raiders are visiting America's team, the Miami Dolphins. Raiders lead the series 21-20-1, about to be tied up today. Dolphins in 23 was the last time we played last year. My bad. Dolphins won 20-13. Dolphins are favored by 7 today, and the over-under is 43.5. Fred, I'll just go to you first because I just wanted you to hear it. Who's winning this and why?
Miami's at home. Miami should win. Their offense is back to normal. Go Miami.
All right. That's exactly right. And I won't waste anyone's time here because we hammering down on America's team. That's the prettiest mouth I've seen all year. Let's bring it. Miami should win this game again. I'll just say this again. Should be powered by 8chan today. So if you got some 8chan invest in, then you're going to be happy man today. So yes, let's go America's team. You can keep putting those lineup questions in. We will get to them as we go through these picks. Browns at Saints. Browns lead this series 13-6. Last time they played was in 2022. The Saints won 17-10, and they've won 2 in a row in the series. The Browns are favored by 1.5. The over-under is 44. Greg, who you like and why?
I'm going with the gunslinger, Jameis Winston, man. I just like the Browns against the Saints. I think Jameis is going to throw that ball all over the field. 3 TDs, 3 interceptions, and the Browns win. Let's go.
I agree with you. I think he will throw it around the field, but I think it'll be a lot to New Orleans today too, because they're up and down on that D. I think it's going to be a good D game for them today. Justin, who do you like and why?
I'm going with the Browns as well, and I'm just going to say this. OJ, I completely agree. He's going to go Ben Roethlisberger all up in their ass, and he's going to throw one more TD than he does interceptions. So it might be like 5-4.
The revenge game, baby. The revenge
game, indeed. I wasn't even thinking about that. Justin, since we're already on you, let's just stick here. We got Kyle Singer in the house. Appreciate you coming in this morning. He's got a question here. He's got Romeo Dobbs, Chubb, and ETN. He needs to pick one for the running back and then one for the flex spot, and it's full PPR.
I'd go Dobbs and Chubb because, like you guys said, ETN is just a horrible matchup. I don't like the Jaguars, anybody on the Jaguars team right now, especially with Mac Jones leading that team. Like, oh, jeez.
ETN's an interesting, if you missed it earlier, Kyle, we talked about it. And ETN's a good, interesting volume play today. However, with Lions being 6 against fantasy running backs, and we don't see a scenario where Jags are up running the football, I agree totally with Justin. Dobbs and Chubb are the go-tos on that one. Fred, Browns Saints, who's winning?
Well, it's got to be the Saints. They're at home. Jameis Winston throws lots of picks, and the Saints are number 9 against quarterbacks. So I'm definitely going to Saints. I don't know what the hell y'all thinking.
I like it indeed because I'm actually agreeing with you. LeDuc agrees with you as well. We all like the Saints at home today against the Browns. All right, let's go to the next one here. The Colts at the Jets. Colts lead the series 44-32-0. Last time they played was in 2021. The Colts won 45-30. They won 2 in a row. Jets are favored by 4, and the over-under is 43.5. We already know what Greg and Fred like, but who's going to win? Justin.
Got to be a hammer. Come on, Justin.
Wait a minute. Fred, the Jester Reyes, this is like his game right here. This is like his two favorite teams in the entire world right here. And you actually still think the Jets, after getting mowed down by the Cardinals, Jesus Christ, Cole told
we're at home, baby.
I was torn.
We're at home.
I was torn because I was like, I'm never picking the Jets ever again.
And then this
I was
comes
like, Anthony Richardson sucks. So if we don't pick Anthony Richardson, we suck. Like we suck. Like
suck. Like blow it up, suck.
Right.
Yeah. You know who sucks worse than Anthony Richardson? Aaron Rodgers right now.
Oh shit.
Book it, the Colts. Book it.
I hope you're the lone wolf.
And howl him up. I was gonna be lone wolf last week with that Cardinals pick, and I didn't pull the trigger. But this one, I just can't even see pulling the trigger on. Just our lone wolf on this one.
And this is why Steph is in last place.
He said this is why he's wearing the dunce cap. Kyle, thank you, my brother. We appreciate you, my friend.
Gotta make up some ground.
I love it. All right, let's go this next one here. Minnesota at the Titans. Vikings lead the series 9-5. Last time we played was in 2020. Titans won 31-30. Vikings are favored by 6, and the over-under is 39.5. Fred, who you like and why?
Absolutely, everybody's picking the Vikings because the Titans suck. The only good defensive thing they have is the number 3 against wide receivers, but they're going against Justin Jefferson. Doesn't matter. Vikings.
Put the hammer down. We all like the Vikings, and no tease in this one. Nobody likes the Titans in this. You see Minnesota getting up big and early. Let's go to the Packers at the Bears. Packers lead the series 107-95-6. Last time they played, of course, was last year. Packers swept them 38-20 and 17-9. As a matter of fact, they've won 10 in a row. And as a matter of fact, they've won 15 out of the last 16. A lot to do with Aaron Rodgers, obviously. Packers are favored by 5.5. The over-under is 40.5. What do you think, Greg? Who wins this and why?
Like Aaron Rodgers used to say, Green Bay owns the Bears. Jordan Love owns the Bears. Green Bay all day. Let's go.
Hammer it down. Not a lot to talk about in this one. I think we all like the Packers a lot in this. Bears are definitely
we were talking about Friday how bad the games are this week. A few of them.
Yeah, there's a few not good matchups, that's for sure. Greg, we're still on you, so let's go with Willis Jones. Appreciate your question this morning, my brother. You got Metcalf or Myers in this one?
Do you really chose Gardner Minshew and Jacoby Myers? Like, really? No. Go with DK Metcalf. Let's go.
D to the K. He's got a tough matchup, but hate to say it, but America's team is a tough matchup as well, at least for fantasy receivers. So, yeah, I agree with you. I do like
But you know what, Coop? In that situation, you got to keep up the pace with Miami, right? Miami's going to throw the ball around. They're going to look all fancy and do all pretty stuff they like to do on offense. So they got to keep up with DK.
That is very true. All right, let's move it along here. And thank you again. We appreciate your lineup questions. Let's go to the Jaguars at the Lions. Lions lead the series 5-3. Last time we played was in 2022. Lions won 40-14. They won 4 in a row. The Lions are favored by 13.5. And the over-under is 47. Justin, are you the lone wolf in this?
No. I'm taking the money. Take the spread, take all of it, everything, the money line, all of it. Lions are going to win by 25.
To give the Jags a little credit. Give the Jags a little credit. We hammered down the Vikings last week against them. They played them pretty good, but
and it's in Detroit. It's in Detroit.
I'm with you, bro. This just ain't happening. It ain't happening today. All right, let's go Rams at Patriots. The Patriots lead the series 9-6. Last time they played was in 2020. Rams won 24-3. Rams are favored by 4. The over-under is 43. Greg, who wins this one and why?
It ain't the Patriots, baby. Like, there's some ugly-ass games this week, man. The Rams are just moving along. I like the Rams. Just move on. If anybody pick the Patriots, they're either a Patriots fan.
There is a Patriots fan.
There is a Patriots fan. However, last week, he didn't go with his home team and got burnt. So this week, he made sure to stick with his home team. So, Leduc, hats off to you. You're our lone wolf go for this matchup, and you're our lone wolf in the loss column in this matchup as well, because the Rams are definitely going to show out today. All right, let's get to some actual football here. The Ravens.
There we go.
Steelers lead this series 35-25. The last time they played was in last year. Steelers swept last year. Interesting when you start doing this stuff, because I didn't remember this. The Steelers won the exact same score both games. They won 17-10. Then they won 17-10. They've won 3 in a row against the Ravens as well. Ravens are favored though by 3.5, and the over/under is 48.5. So Justin, who you like and why?
I'm going to go with 4 in a row. Let's go Steelers. I think this is going to be a home field advantage type of game where they're going to really just, get it out in the end. It's going to be a really close game, but I'm going Steelers. Whatever it is Mike Tomlin's got, he's got it locked down, man, because he is looking like coach of the year right now.
Fred, who you like?
I got to go with the Ravens. What we failed to realize is last year Derrick Henry wasn't on this team. And he's a beast. He's beasting. He's killing it. And I think they beat the Steelers. Another close, hard-hitting game, but Ravens come out this time.
Greg?
I agree with Fred, man. I think this is the game where Lamar is like 1-5 against the Steelers, but I think this is the game where he gets over the hump. Like Fred said, Derrick Henry brings that added element. They could just pound the ball for the first 2-3 quarters, and Lamar go win the game in the fourth. I think Baltimore wins it.
So there's weird anomalies in the NFL, like, example, the Miami Dolphins can't ever win a playoff game. Some teams, like when Brady used to come down to Miami, for some reason, we had his number. I think the Steelers got the Ravens number, period. I don't think it just goes anyway. I agree with Justin. I like Steelers in this matchup. I think the difference in this matchup is the defenses. The Steelers are still back to their old school playing good defense, and the Ravens, I don't even know if they have a defense at this point. Got all kind of holes in it. So I'm going to go with the better defense playing at home. I like the Steelers in the matchup. Let's go to the next one. And again, it was funny that Eric said about, let's just sit back and watch the 4:00 games, because there are some good matchups in the 4:00. Seahawks at 49ers. Seahawks lead the series 30-23. They played back in October. The 49ers won 36-24. They won 6 in a row in this series. 49ers are favored by 6.5. The over/under is 48. So let's hear from Greg. Who wins this and why?
Bang, bang, Niner gang, baby. Let's go, Niners.
I went to you because I was thinking, well, let's not go to the homer and let's hear what he says. We already know they're going to win, but bump it. Let's just hammer it down, not waste our time. We all like Seattle in this matchup. Maybe playing in Seattle, I may have thought about it, because the 49ers look, they don't look like the 49ers right now. It's going to take them a little bit, I'm sure. But we're not near playoff time yet. But, again, 49ers all day. Let's not waste time with that. All right. Falcons at Broncos. Again, I feel like this is another decent one. Broncos lead this series 9-7. Last time they played was in 2020, and the Falcons won 34-27. They won 3 in a row in this series. The Broncos are favored by 2, and the over/under is 45. So let's go to Justin. Who wins this and why?
I'm going to go with the Broncos on this one. Whatever the Broncos have going down there, Sean Payton's done a hell of a job as a coach, man, because he's got that defense going. He's got Bo Nix believing in himself and believing that he can win with these weapons. I'm going to roll with the Broncos. Falcons have lost some weird games this year. They've looked good. They've looked bad. I'm going to go with the team that's been really consistent over the past 4 or 5 weeks.
And why not? I like it. Fred, who wins this and why?
Atlanta, Bijan Robinson game. Broncos are good. They're cool, but they do have a rookie quarterback. I think this is a Falcons game.
I like it. What do you think, Greg?
Man, I'm scared because me and Freddie's on the same wavelength right now. I like Atlanta, man. And this game was a toss-up for me. I was like, Denver's playing good on defense, but I think Kirk Cousins figures it out this weekend against the Broncos. I think they ride that Bijan Robinson, play action pass a lot. So I think Atlanta pulls it out in a close one.
They're a roller coaster, indeed, is Kirk Cousins. But I like the Broncos as well. I'm going to go with that, playing that good defense, playing at home. Again, if it was in Atlanta, might be leaning Atlanta's way, but at playing in Denver, I kind of like that for the Broncos, playing that good defense. So I could see a good day for the Broncos. Bill's checking in this morning. He came out of the cave to say, "Go Broncos." What's up, Bill? I think we missed you last week. So he's break Bijan Robinson.
Damn.
We'll see about that. All right, let's get on to the next one. We got
there we go.
What am I doing here? Chiefs at Bills. Bills lead this series 29-25-1. Now, before you make your picks, you might want to hear this. We know the Chiefs won last year in the AFC Championship 27-24. But prior to that, the Bills have won 3 out of the last 4 with the Chiefs, and that loss being in overtime. So just to throw that out there, the Bills are favored by 2. The over-under is 46. Greg, who you like in this one and why?
Man, Buffalo cannot stop the run. And what Kansas City is doing right now, they are grinding the hell out of it on offense, right? So they're going to feed Kareem Hunt. And when Patrick Mahomes needs to step up, he's going to be Patrick Mahomes. He's going to hit Travis Kelce. He's going to hit D-Hop. They're going to get down to the red zone. You got Hunt. You got Kelce. You got D-Hop. You got Juju returning this week as well. And that defense, you can't sleep on Kansas City's defense. So Josh Allen may throw a pick or two, but I think Kansas City pulls it out. You're telling me they were on the ropes last week, and they pulled it out with a field goal block. They're going 17-0, baby.
Greg, like you're going to see in our home league, it's not easy to go undefeated. Justin, what do you think? Who wins and why?
I think this is going to be their lone loss of the season. Buffalo's owned them in the regular season, 3-0 since Josh Allen's been there. And I'll tell you what, Josh Allen means business. He's going for MVP this year. This man is on a mission to beat out Lamar Jackson. How do you beat out Lamar Jackson? You beat the one team Lamar couldn't beat. So let's go. I'm going with the Bills on this one. Josh Allen proves to 4-0 in the regular season, which means nothing for the postseason, but it's nice.
Bill likes the Bills, ironically enough. What do you think, Fred?
Chiefs.
He going with his favorite Travis Kelce, infamous Travis Kelce pick in this one. But look how the stars are aligning for the 2 stepbrothers this week because they're twinsies again. I like the Bills again. It's all about matchups. You said the Chiefs have struggled all year. Not like the Bills haven't, but I feel like they've kind of come on a little bit, and they're playing at home. Revenge game from last season. They've already proven they can beat this Chiefs team. So I like the Bills today. All right, let's go to the next one. Bengals at the Chargers. Now, the Chargers have overall lead the series 23-15. Last time they played was in 2021. Chargers won 41-22. They won 3 in a row in the series. Chargers are favored by 1.5. The over-under is 48. What do you say, guys? Sorry, I'm about to go on the Friday night deal. Let's go, Justin. Who wins and why?
I'm going to go with the Bengals. I just think they need it more in this game. Chargers have a really good defense, but I think that they're going to feel real pressed with T. Higgins being back, with Jamar Chase obviously being the animal that he is. I think this is going to be a really entertaining game, but the Bengals really need it if they're going to be playoff contention this year. So I think the Bengals win.
Bill said the Taylor Swifts are going to choke today, indeed. Now, I don't want to waste anyone's time because we're hammering this one. But I'll tell you, man, I've been lone wolfing the Chargers all year long. This was the one I wanted to do. I just couldn't pull the trigger. I feel like the Bengals offensively a lot more cooking than what the Chargers have. And I feel like even though the Chargers have a good defense, not for nothing, it's like the Bengals are the opposite of what KC has been all year. Played well, but lost games they should have won, where KC hasn't played well and ended up winning. But today, I think, again, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins back. This offense is going to be on full bore. I like it. So I'm going Bengals, even though, man, it's going to be the one I regret I didn't lone wolf this week, but we'll see. Let's go with I usually say Monday night delight. I don't know how much of a delight this is. Texans at Cowboys. Cowboys lead the series 4-2. Last time they played was in 2022. The Cowboys won 27-23. Texans are favored by 7. The over-under is 49.5. Although they won't have to deal with any sun in their face, which I think is absolutely the dumbest thing that I've ever seen in my life. It's not like it's a home field advantage like in Miami where they keep the sun on the visiting team. It's like your own team has to stare at the sun and make play calls around it. Just close the damn windows, you dummy. Anyway, what do you think, Fred? Who wins and why?
Houston. Dallas sucks. Defense terrible. Cooper Rush. Bad Monday night game. I'll be watching some basketball.
Yeah, I don't know. We might be turning it early on Monday night. And again, not to waste time, bro. Bump it. Like, let's hammer it down.
Let's
Houston,
go.
ain't nobody picking damn Cowboys.
I love you guys.
Jake Paul has more wins in AT&T Stadium than the Cowboys. Let's go.
You see that meme too, right? I love you guys. I gotta go. You guys are fools.
All right, no, that's why he was saying we're running over today. It was Friday. Fred must got something to do. All right, Fred, we appreciate you. We'll see you next Sunday.
I gotta go get my window because they're gonna give me a fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, all right. He gotta go.
I'm on the phone right now with Tyson's promoter. We're gonna work this out.
Fred got to go train, so he's doing the next one. All right, guys. Well, listen, thank you so much for joining us this Sunday morning. Appreciate all your questions and all that good stuff. But if you stuck around today, you have done yourself a service because we don't get to go to church because we're up here getting early doing our football thing. But we got church right here for you. You ain't got to go nowhere. Fantasy Jesus is in the house, and he's here to bless your fantasy rosters. Check it out.
I'm here to save your fantasy rosters.
Good morning, TSS family, and welcome into Week 11. Here's your 5 DFS picks. We're going to get kicked off with Anthony Richardson returning to the starting role of the Indianapolis Colts this week. I like this play because the Jets have allowed the most rushing touchdowns to opposing quarterbacks, and the Jets by themselves have been like taking tackling drills from their coaches, like Ulbricht's getting in there and going at it, and they don't like it. It just seems like utter chaos in New York. I like the Colts, and I like Anthony Richardson to have a bounce-back performance for his return to the lineup. Then we got Jahmyr Gibbs. It's pretty much set and forget with Jahmyr Gibbs, but when you play in the Jacksonville Jaguars, they're not going to put up a lot of offense. They're going to be down early and often, and you just got to think the Lions, after 5 interceptions last week, might just run this game out and run the clock out. So I'm looking at a lot of Jahmyr Gibbs, a lot of David Montgomery. Then we got DeAndre Hopkins at the receiver position. DeAndre Hopkins has been nothing but helpful to the Kansas City Chiefs ever since coming over, and this week they're going to need it because they're going to have to go tit for tat, blow for blow with the Buffalo Bills. Look for this to be a huge game for DeAndre Hopkins. At the tight end position, we're going to stick with that game. We're going to go with Dawson Knox. So these Kansas City Chiefs have allowed the second most points overall on a week-to-week basis to the tight end position. And just to break your heart a little bit more, I think Dawson Knox is going to show you what Dalton Kincaid can't and have a great performance this week against the Kansas City Chiefs. Finished it out with the Detroit Lions against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Kind of self-explanatory, but Mac Jones is playing quarterback, and the Jacksonville Jaguars are literally one loss away from losing their head coach and probably losing everything in that building. Go ahead and book it. That is 5 DFS picks for your Week 11 rosters. May your lineups be blessed.
I'm not sure who to start this week. Trust in your Savior.
Trust in your Savior, indeed. All right, guys. Well, we appreciate you hanging out with us this morning. You can always reach out to us on social media with any other questions you may have. We appreciate you joining us. Don't forget, join us next Sunday. Wake up with us then. And, of course, on Friday night, check us out. We'll be breaking down all of Week 11, or excuse me, Week 12's fantasy matchups. So make sure you check us out then. Check us out, of course, in the car, Spotify. I keep forgetting to promote that. If you're in the car, we got that going as well. We appreciate all of you guys. Good luck this week. It's a big week this week. We appreciate you, and we are out. Oh, I forgot to end the show. How about that? Hi.